Well, Representative Charles Rangel of New York is among those celebrating the new relationship with Cuba. In fact, he helped make it happen. Congressman, welcome again. How did this all come about?
Well, you really asked the question that I was not prepared to answer, but I'll tell you how it came about. It came about by older Cuban Americans passing away, newer Cuban Americans not knowing who Castro was except by what their parents said, and the fact that the Electoral College vote in Florida was no longer an issue. Democratic presidents and Republican presidents were so concerned about which way that Cuban American vote was going that the actual reason for the embargo never truly existed. It was just a painful thing for Cubans, and they would lash out at anybody, including me, that would even talk about removing the embargo. And so now that Obama won the first time in Florida and he's not running again in Florida, he has released and given freedom to all national candidates to do what is in America's best interest.
So in a sense, Congressman, politics does play a little bit in this here.
A lot in this.
Of course. And of course, the embargo still is in place in some facets and form. But what are the advantages here for both Cuba and the U.S. with this new look now that we have?
There's so many of them. I don't see any downside except to say that they are Cuban Americans that have painful experiences that you have to be sympathetic to. But this is not what presidents are all about. It's about what is in the best interests of the United States of America. Clearly, when you're the only one having an embargo and restricting people from travel, which is wrong, from trading, which is wrong, and from Cuban Americans who love Cuba and Cuban Americans who love the United States, I think that we can do more than Castro or any president in having the same things that we want for democracy. In Cuba, when I was there, they were saying there's two things they love about America. One, American movies. Two, everything else about America. They're there, 911, they were trying to help. Katrina, they were trying to help.
Sure.
And so what is going to happen is that trade is going to expand. Our relationship between Central and South America is going to dramatically improve. We'll be talking about different type of terrorists and problems we face as two nations.
Yes, sir.
Talk about exchanges in medical science.
Right, and all that's really good. And of course, the entrepreneurs, there are several 100,000, I think, that exist in Cuba right now that are just waiting to do business with our country. But on the other side, in terms of foreign policy, in a sense, I'm thinking this probably further isolates Russia now, who really no longer has a foothold 90 miles from our shore. And I guess it also kind of isolates Venezuela a little bit, too. Would you agree?
Quite frankly, they had isolated themselves. The fuel crisis that has caused the ruble to disintegrate in Russia, they can't help anybody anymore. And since the collapse of the Soviet Union, they haven't been helpful. And of course, Venezuela had been helpful, but quite frankly, their economy is not in any shape now to continue that help. And so there's no question that Cuba needs help. But we also need a market for our goods. Our agriculture people, our hospitality people, our hotel, our music people, our arts, our craft, these are our friends and neighbors over the years. We dislike their form of government, but we're not in love with the Vietnamese, we're not in love with the communist Chinese, and we're doing business with them.
Lastly, Congressman, it may be a minority, but what would you say to those people, especially Cuban Americans here, who are against this, even some of the lawmakers who are against this? What would you say to them right now?
I would say that what makes America so great is that everybody comes here from some different country. We may feel as African Americans some pain that exists, the way America's reaction have been to countries in Africa. And we should express it. That's what America's all about.
Sure.
But American foreign policy is not based on what Rangel and you feel. It has to be based what is the interest of our country. So while we're sympathetic to their concerns, what they are looking for in hating Castro has nothing to do with improving the relationships with the free world.
Congressman Charles Rangel, as always, thank you, sir, for being here.
Thank you, Julius.
Okay. And we'll have more on this story when we return. Stay with us.